both of us, we talk a lot about diet.
Yeah.
Okay. And I talk a lot about insulin. Okay. And I say that, in my research as well, and also, based on multiple studies, we know that as long as we protect our insulin, we give rest to the insulin, people are happy. Okay. So my method of time restricted feeding, where you don't eat late at night, like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., according to the circadian rhythm, it doesn't work accordingly. So if you don't eat late at night, insulin is taking rest at night so that it will come back in the next day and with full action, full 100% quality, and then will give you the best effect that you need. You have been advocating low carb diet.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me how low carb is affecting the insulin from a pathophysiology standpoint?
Yeah. So what you are advocating is we have to the sunrise to sunset. So and based on the circadian rhythm, so our hormones, the insulin, the effectiveness will go down after the sunset.
Correct.
So you are advocating to reduce or stop eating after 6 p.m. or 7
p.m. late at night.
Yeah. So what the concept of low carbohydrate diet is that it is not, I won't say it is opposite to the intermittent fasting or anything. It is all complementary.
Correct.
So generally, even in low carbohydrate diet, we combine intermittent fasting. And in fact, intermittent fasting works best when combined with low carbohydrate.
I see.
So ultimately, it is everything about controlling insulin. So that is the one key.
Correct.
So how we can control insulin, or we should know what are the factors that trigger insulin. So among the diet, the carbohydrates are the most important source of food that actually triggers the insulin to the highest level. Next is protein, but when compared to the carbohydrates, the amount of insulin triggered by the protein intake is pretty much low. And actually fat, it actually triggers insulin to the least possible.
Correct.
So that is the thing people should be aware of. So we always think, okay, whenever, because insulin resistant, obesity, we always associate, okay, fatty items will affect insulin. No. Actually, even less than the protein, fats produce the least insulin spikes inside the body. So this is one thing. And next thing is, so these are the nutritional factors.
Correct.
The next thing is time restricted feeding. So whenever we are eating more frequently, the insulin spikes are maximum. Whenever we consolidate our meals, then again the insulin spikes are minimum. Then again, whenever we are fit and our activity is not sedentary, whenever we are fit and we are doing some cardio or strength training, definitely the insulin sensitivity will be better. Whenever we are sedentary, the insulin sensitivity will be low. So these are the 5 factors: the nutrition, the eating time, and the physical activity. So these are the 3 factors that control the insulin inside the body. So your approach is from one angle. So time restricted feeding acts from one angle. So in another angle, say in the same time restricted diet, if a person decides, as you comically say, if I want to eat 2 plates of biryani between say 12 p.m. and 6 p.m., will it work?
2 plates of biryani?
2 plates of biryani
might not work.
Yeah. Why? Even though the insulin function is maximum. So if say he wants to eat, he wants to follow an eating window 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay. So 10 a.m. he takes some 4 rotis or 4 chapatis, something like that. Then by lunch or by evening, he wants to take 2 full plate biryani. And it will be loaded with carbohydrates, loaded with calories, so loaded with everything.
Correct.
So will the same intermittent fasting work in this case scenario?
Not that much.
Yeah, not that much. Because what we eat during the intermittent fasting, what we eat during the eating window matters. So that is where the carbohydrate restriction comes in. So time is one thing that controls the insulin. Then among the food items, the carbohydrates are the most potent source. So whenever we restrict carbohydrate intake, the insulin spikes are less. So with that, we are able to reverse the diseases associated with insulin malfunctioning or insulin resistance. So what are the diseases associated with insulin resistance? The first thing is obesity. Diabetes, that is particularly type 2 diabetes. Then dyslipidemia, that is cholesterol. Generally the people say cholesterol issue, but actually it is high triglycerides. So because high LDL cholesterol is a different type altogether. Correct. It's a different ball game. It is related to genetic issues. So whenever we mean dyslipidemia or high cholesterol, actually in insulin resistance, it is high triglycerides or low HDL cholesterol. So that is one thing. Then fatty liver. So as we keep repeatedly saying, fatty liver, PCOS in females, and gout, high uric acid. So these are the things related to insulin resistance. So we say insulin resistance. That means insulin is not functioning properly.
Yeah.
So because of insulin resistance, what happens inside the body? The pancreas secretes more insulin.
Correct.
So that is hyperinsulinemia. So excess insulin inside the body, because the whatever insulin is, so instead of 10 units, the pancreas secretes 30 units, 40 units, 50 units. To compensate. So whenever we see obese patient and the sugar levels will be normal, when we check, we check actually HbA1c, that is the glycosylated hemoglobin. It is actually better than fasting and postprandial blood sugar.
Correct.
And we also check the fasting insulin levels. So they will be happy telling that I am obese but sugar levels are normal. But the fasting insulin levels will be 50. That means his pancreas is already overworking 5 times to prevent diabetes. So whenever a person develops diabetes, I always used to say the disease had started